category of the podcast today, sponsors.
Beef,
Sports, McDonald's, a hospital,
Biscuit World from Southwestern West Virginia.
and then You Are Me Coffee.
You Are Me Coffee, the only real sponsor.
The only real sponsor we have. But everyone else, if you want to, shoot me an email. Howdy, and welcome to Your Why, Season 3, Episode 3. Today we have Joni D. Goodman on to talk about how she consults and helps people find their why on the podcast Your Why. Today our co-hosts are Trevor Barnett and Carson Tucker from the Restoration Team. Hello, fellows.
Hello.
Hello, Evan.
All right. Y'all are returning guests here on the podcast.
Friends of the pod.
We missed out on
Friends
season
of the
2,
pod.
though.
Yeah. Y'all,
Was there a season 2?
season 2, we were hitting too much of a stride. We didn't want to have y'all back on. But then there's been a lag. So we had to bring y'all back in.
They needed to beef up the season.
Okay. Sure. That's
Hey.
what we'll go with.
Yeah,
Uh,
beef. That's our other sponsor. Beef.
Beef.
Just
cows.
cows.
We need the beef ladies from the food pantry.
That's true. We can call them in.
We got to edit that out.
Or we can keep it in. Listen, we're chilling. We're busting. We're drinking coffee.
That's
we're having a good
volunteer
time.
appreciation.
It is. It's true.
But you're promoting the wrong organization.
Yeah, you're not here to talk about the
We're
food
not
pantry.
here to talk about the food pantry.
You're here to talk
the
about
food who? Just
Yeah,
kidding.
okay. All right.
We're
Back
here to
on
talk
track.
about beef.
All right.
The restoration team.
Yeah. Well,
That's us.
y'all have been on here before. Give us a brief introduction of who you all are, y'all's job title, all that.
Yeah, I'm Trevor Barnett. I'm the director of the restoration team and co-founder. If you need to hear more about the restoration team, and you definitely do, you can scroll back to, what was that, season 1, episode
I think it was
3? Episode 3.
Yeah.
And learn all about why Carson and I are part of the restoration team.
Our why.
Who are you?
Who are you? I
think
don't
it's-
recognize you.
Carson Tucker over here. I'm the volunteer coordinator of the restoration team. Happy to be here. I've been listening to the season 1, episode 3 every day since we did it. I just can't get enough of my voice.
That's good. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so also Carson, for y'all that are listening just the audio, Carson is rocking a mean mustache and Trevor is rocking a mean winter
It's
beard.
his winter beard.
So
He's been talking about it all day.
talking about it all day.
Hey,
So-
nobody else is going to bring it up. They're embarrassed for me. It's okay.
So the first time y'all were on here, we didn't do this, but now we do. Every co-host, I like to ask them an icebreaker question. So I have a list of 187 icebreaker questions. And so one of y'all give me a number and between 1 and 187, and I'll ask y'all that question.
45.
45. Share a time when you had hurt feelings.
Oh.
No, let's redo that.
That's the tell me a time you had hurt feelings.
What day is it?
It is a Tuesday.
Hmm.
You're talking
Do
about the Cowboys.
Do I have?
mean,
Oh yeah, every Sunday at noon or 3:30, or at 7 o'clock because we seem to always be on prime time.
Okay.
The boys, the Cowboys hurt my feelings every day.
That's a valid response.
I have very tough feelings.
Okay.
Tough feelings.
That does happen.
I have tough feelings.
You have tough feelings.
Tough
Doesn't hurt
feelings.
you that bad.
When
It's
do
just
you
no
have-
tears shed.
When do I have my hurt
When
feelings?
do you have your hurt feelings? Your feelings hurt.
I would say every A&M season, but this season seems a little bit different.
Yeah, you say that.
This season
We're only in the middle
seems
of
a little bit different.
That's what every
Eh.
first half of an A&M season feels like.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey, Texas is back. I don't know if you heard.
What rank are they?
it. How many years in a row have they been back?
We've been back and not back and close to back for seemingly all of my life.
Okay, this is great. We've turned into a sports podcast now. But okay, so
I'm not qualified for that.
Hey, sponsored by Sports.
sports is the new sponsor.
Sports.
So the interview with Joni was great, and it was, I don't know, it was really interesting to have someone on to talk about how she helps other people find their why. So, what were your thoughts? Kind of previewing the interview.
Yeah, it was great to hear her talk about like how she gets in, how she has come to where she has, and kind of founding her own journey, or her own, I guess, she founded her company 4 years ago, I think she said. So, kind of how far she's come in that time, and what led her to what she's doing.
Yeah, Joni's a tremendous person. I was very happy to be in that Saturday way back when with her, and then to be in this podcast again to hear, not only how she helped out the restoration team, but also what she's doing for companies all over.
All right, that's great. So we're going to go ahead and jump to that interview now, and we'll see y'all back here in a second. All right, we are now here with Joni. Joni, I actually don't think I know your last name.
Joni Goodman.
Joni Goodman.
Joni D. Goodman of Joni D. Goodman LLC.
All right, awesome. So, Joni, do you want to kind of give us a brief introduction of who you are, what you do, and all that?
Absolutely. So my name is Joni Goodman, and I have my own consulting practice where I focus on facilitation, which is things like leadership retreats, board development, Dare to Lead program that you see in my background here. And then I also do professional development work, which is also kind of bleeds over into the facilitation, but is leadership development work. So I do work around diversity, equity, and inclusion, self-awareness, effective communication, generational communication. And then in my past life, when I was in the corporate world, I did sales training. So I also still do sales training and executive coaching.
All right, that is awesome. And, we have you on today to kind of talk about, what that consulting looks like. Cause, Trevor actually was telling me about, what was it? When did y'all do that whole Saturday?
It was in September.
Yeah. About what y'all were doing and how you kind of help, kind of point businesses and help them find their purpose, as we call it, their why. And he was even telling me y'all talk about the golden circle approach, which was kind of a founding philosophy of the podcast. And so, do you want to kind of give us, again, just kind of a overview of what that looks like whenever you come in and you help consult these companies and businesses and such?
Sure. So one of the key tenets of any nonprofit, company, organization is the individuals and the human beings that make up that team, organization, board, nonprofit, etc. And so what I help is those individuals and those people to be self-aware so that they may more effectively communicate. And with that self-awareness comes the whole notion of the why. And, I saw Simon Sinek's Golden Circle video, or Start With Why video, many years ago. And I have used that so many times because I believe in it, because it follows my own personal journey. This was not what I started out doing when I graduated college. I'm actually a biochemist by trade. And I spent 4 years in research and development. But in my undergrad, I was doing research for a medical school professor. And so scientists aren't typically extroverted and don't do a lot of public speaking, that sort of thing. But when you're doing research for a professor, they want you to talk about it. And so I am grateful to her because I didn't really have a fear of public speaking, but I'll admit that there were some times that I was a little bit anxious about it. And so doing all of those presentations in my undergrad helped me with the gift of public speaking. And, my parents used to joke when I was little, they said, we didn't think you were ever going to walk, but you never shut up. So I think I was born with the gift of gab. But I started my career in a call center and spent 8 to 10 hours a day doing technical support and interacting with other people. And then I thought, I'm going to use this kind of as a foot in the door because I'm really a researcher. That's what I want to do. So I spent 13 months in the call center and then moved into a position in the lab and realized that there's really a stark difference here. I spent most of my day interacting with other people, and now I've moved more into isolated interactions with other people and doing a lot of experiments and work myself. So I found myself looking for opportunities in the lab to be able to do that. And so that was part of my self-awareness in learning what it is that I was passionate about and what I loved doing. And after 4 years in the lab, I decided that training was something that I had done even pre-professionally. I spent 6 years working at McDonald's. That's what helped pay my way through college. And so was a trainer there. And so I decided that training was what I wanted to do full time. And that same call center that I started my career in actually needed someone to come over and run the call center from a training standpoint. And so that was in 2004. And I've been doing that type of work ever since. And got a little disgruntled in working some of my past jobs. And it was because I had this underlying entrepreneurial spirit that I really wanted to have my own business. And it was something that I saw that my dad also had, and he didn't really honor that until he retired. And so I decided, hey, this is something that I want to do. And so in 2016 is actually when I started my own consulting practice. And so having that journey of self-awareness, and believe me, it was not a smooth road. It was a lot of peaks and valleys and bumps along the way that actually taught me and helped me to hone in on what my why is and what my passion is. And that's what I enjoy helping other people to do because of my experience. The other thing that I will share that was part of the bumpy road is that I grew up with anxiety as a child. And so I was able to deal with it pretty much in elementary school, and it seemed to go away. However, what really happened is it got pushed down. And then as I started into my adult life and into my career, it started impacting me personally, me professionally. And I decided that it was time to go inward and to really explore me. And so I share that because I am from Indiana originally, and I moved to Houston in 2013, and I did not know one single person when I moved here. And so having the background that I came from with a lot of anxiety, that was a huge feat for me and helped me to further hone in and shape my why. And so the reason I'm passionate about what I do is because I want to help other people to be self-aware so that they can be more effective in their communication with other people, because I believe that that would have helped me in my life a lot sooner had I been more self-aware.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's super neat too, because a lot of what it sounds like you're passionate about is kind of the driving factor of this podcast, as well as, getting people on here to talk about what they're passionate about, what their why in life is, and hopefully encouraging the people listening to also take those steps. And I always feel like whenever people share that story, just kind of like what you're saying, it's never necessarily what you start off thinking it will be. And
Right.
you don't know how life's experiences are going to shape for what eventually you're going to end up doing. But it is cool to look back and look at the entire picture being painted and be able to connect dots that you didn't think would be connected.
Yeah, I was
Exactly.
just thinking, how do we get McDonald's to be a sponsor now with that?
Yeah, that was
It was in Linton, Indiana, which is, I call it the Mayberry of the Midwest. And actually, two of the leaders that I most respect were the owners and operators of that franchise, which is Jerry and Gare Margraf. And I'm celebrating them even still today because, and especially this year, they just retired. And, I started working when I was 15. And wow, they really helped to shape, my career early on and teach me some critical skills, with discipline and, having that tenacity to continue when it's frustrating. I became a manager for them. And so when I was not even 20 yet, I had people who were twice or three times my age that were working for me on a shift. And so that was challenging and interesting.
Yeah, but again, it's so cool to kind of hear that. And, it's cool to hear that your passion is helping other people realize their passion. And I think I think you get to experience a lot of cool conversations and a lot of cool people that way. And so, okay, well, we're going to kind of move into talking about how you kind of helped the restoration team kind of begin that process and help figure out with these two people. I had other words that came to mind there,
Wow.
but I didn't say them.
The family show.
The family show, yeah. But before that, a quick word from our sponsor,
McDonald's.
McDonald's. If you're listening,
If Jerry's out there,
yeah,
listen
if
anytime.
you want to sponsor this podcast, I am all ears. But no, our sponsor for this episode is You Are Me Coffee, specialty coffee with a purpose. The goal of You Are Me is to partner growers and millers in Muru, Kenya, with consumers around the world. Before You Are Me, supply chain limitations discouraged locals from cultivating their coffee. We've changed that by eliminating the valueless transactions. The other key to You Are Me is ensuring that farmers and millers are compensated with a living wage. We like to think that it's the fairest of trades. So if you want to get yourself some of this coffee, go to yourme.com. Literally the letters URME.com. I mean, coffee.com. YouAreMeCoffee.com. And all their coffee is grown in volcanic soil in Muru, Kenya. They have K cups from medium to light roast, whole bean coffee, medium to light roast, limited edition HBS barrel aged whole bean coffee, which is what we're drinking today. It's pretty tasty.
This is great.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what are we drinking today?
Yeah, we're drinking the limited edition. It's aged in whiskey barrels. So if you like a little whiskey, you like some coffee, this could be just what you're looking for.
What do you know? I mean, when I walked in here, I smelled that. I smelled it. I thought, ooh, I want some of that. I'm glad I have it. It's better than McDonald's.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
Whoa.
Hey, well,
we're not.
Easy now. We're working on this for our next sponsor.
I was like, you don't need conflicting sponsorships. They can both. We can all
You or
be
me
friends.
doesn't make hash browns.
But they are roasting weekly now. You can expect your order to be shipped out within a week of receipt. So go get yourself some, people. It's great. It's really tasty. But moving on to the second part. So this is kind of, I think, a conversation that we can now kind of open up to, like, kind of what y'all's experience. And that's kind of where I want to start off is, what was that thought process leading up for the restoration team that made y'all realize we need to reach out to someone like Joni and kind of help us walk through that process?
Yeah, well, the restoration team was founded 2 years ago, in 2018, about a year after we had actually started thinking about that idea. And it was, the board had come a long way, and we kind of shifted from getting everything set into what does sustainability and what is the next steps of an organization and how does that do that. And so I knew that I needed some outside help to talk through that with the board and help make sure that we were on the right path for what we needed. And so I really wanted to do it a while ago, but pandemic and things. So finally got around to it and started putting some feelers out. And Mary Grace Landrum recommended Joni, and I'd gotten in contact with Mary Grace through a couple of different contacts and things. And so I emailed back and forth with her, and then she introduced Joni and reached out to Joni. And we had a couple of conversations as to, okay, what do you do and what do we need and that sort of thing. And Joni was great and kind of helped us walk through, like, this is kind of the steps and what goes on from there. And then we spent, I guess, a couple hours in different calls, kind of walking through what we needed to discuss with the board. But yeah, it was just kind of helpful to go through some steps as to helping us dig back down into the core of why was the restoration team formed, what is our mission, what is our vision, and where are we going next, sort of thing.
Yeah. So Joni, kind of give us an insight into, like Trevor was saying, y'all go in and y'all preparing for this meeting. Carson actually kept on referring to it as a vision quest.
Vision quest.
Which was an interesting word.
Joni was our shaman.
But what does that look like on your side, be preparing for these meetings that you're going to have with organizations and boards and all that?
Yeah, so first I got to shout out to Mary Grace Landrum. She is the ultimate connector. She's a dear friend and colleague. We actually met through a mutual engagement that we did together at Memorial Hermann Hospital. There's another sponsor for you. And
Write these down.
so in preparing and talking with Trevor or other boards who are looking for help and guidance in their development, you know, we talked about kind of what the state of the board and the organization was, you know, how are you tracking towards your goals, thinking about goals into the new year, how do we factor in the pandemic? And then, as I said earlier, with any team, any board, any organization, there are people that make up that board. And so I like to start with the individuals and giving them some awareness. So of course, one of the things that we talked about was change. And you hear a lot of things around change management, but I like to start with change awareness because everybody responds to change differently. And change is the one thing that's constant. I mean, pandemic or not, change is something that is constantly happening to us. So do we have the awareness of how we each respond to change? So we spent some time unpacking that and figuring out how we can be more resilient amongst change, and when there's chaos, how we can bring order to that. And then I took them through a module around living into your values. So the restoration team has a mission, vision, and values, and the individuals who make up that organization, as well as the board, all have their own individual values. So it's one thing to have those words written on a paper or on a website, but how do we actually live those out? And this is actually one of the skill sets from the Dare to Lead program that I deliver. And so we did an exercise around identifying each person's top 2 values, and then had a conversation about what does it look like to live those out? How do we support one another with that? And how do those align with the restoration team values? And then that led us to the strategic planning portion, which is really around, I use the appreciative inquiry process for that, so that a lot of times when things aren't going well, that's what we get bogged down in, is we focus on what's not going well. But what can lift us back up is where we actually focus on when was a time when things were going well and how can we get back to that? And it's really exploring and unpacking the dream phase of that appreciative inquiry, which can then lead you more into a place where you can set goals.
Yeah. Wow. And that's, you know, I'm heard from them about kind of how that Saturday went. That's really cool. Like to hear that whole process and like, you know, just you being able to highlight different activities and just be able to guide people through that. For y'all, what was that like? Were these things that y'all had thought about before? Did this help form new thoughts? Like what was that like for y'all as the restoration team?
I think for me, it was really handy to kind of take a step back and, you know, like you said, you know, discuss the values, when times were good, when times were bad. I feel like when we're doing this in this home repair ministry, we get so bogged down, like, you know, we put up insulation just so we can get to the sheetrock, and we do the sheetrock just so we can get to paint. We get to paint just so we get to the next house. And to kind of reassess that and take a step back and just say, like, you know, we're doing it for this family, or we're doing it for this reason. And it puts more meaning to the work rather than just numbers, really.
Yeah, and walking through the personal the personal understanding of why the individual members, you know, are participating. We've had the board members for 3 years now, just about 2.5 years that I've met them. Some of them I've known for over 7 years, but listening to their kind of personal statements as to what their goals are, what their purpose is, what they feel like they offer outside of the restoration team, but just really as who they are and what they value, was really great too. As because it, you know, we often get caught up in okay, this is the staff and this is the board and these are our clients and these are our donors and that sort of thing. But bringing it back to a personal stage of understanding and like we're all in this together. I mean, you know, we are the restoration team. We're one team, and we all work together to move forward. And we all have a personal reason as to why we're doing this. And so it was really helpful that Saturday to zoom out and then kind of zoom in with a completely different lens on things.
That's really neat. Well, I think this has been a really great conversation, and I wish we had time to continue the conversation because I'm enjoying it a lot. But you know, this podcast, we like to make it bite sized. So I'm gonna kind of leave the last word up to Joni. Joni, now is your chance to say whatever you want, plug how people can get connected to you, what that looks like, and all that. The mic and the camera is yours.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Evan and Trevor and Carson, for having me on today. And just a few parting words. You know, being self-aware is really critical to your success, and especially for effective communication. And communication is the foundation of all that we do personally and professionally. And I would be more than glad to help you with some of the tools that I have and share the tools that I have in my toolbox with you. To help you with your self-awareness around your thoughts, your emotional intelligence, your communication, your body language, all those types of things. And a couple of offerings that I have to do that. Upcoming on December 8th, I am hosting a 4-hour implementation course that helps us to unpack our limiting beliefs and learn how to really be an empathic listener during difficult conversations, as well as to have influence on others. And then the workshop wraps up with a blueprint exercise where you can put together an actual tangible blueprint for your success. And then also in 2021, believe it or not, we're planning for 2021. On February 24th and 25th, I am offering a public Dare to Lead workshop where one of the things that we talked about today was the living into your values exercise. That is a component of a full workshop that will be held on a Thursday and Friday in February 24th and 25th in 2021. And I'll give Evan and Trevor and Carson the link so they can provide all of that good stuff for you. You can connect with me on any social media platform. Just look for Joni, Jonid, as in Dare, Goodman. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and would love to connect with you and support you in any way that I can.
All right. Thanks, Joni. And yeah, we will be linking Joni's website, all of her social media stuff whenever we're promoting the podcast. So yeah, make sure you go and check her out. She's got some great things to offer in a great ways. You know, hey, get better, people. That's what it's about, right? Find your passions, find your why. So thanks for coming on, Joni.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joni.
And we're back. What a great interview that was. Joni, she is full of, yeah, I like it whenever we have someone on who I only have to ask one question and she covers everything I want to talk about. Always a great interviewee whenever that
Because you
happens.
provided such a great outline.
I try. Thank you.
In portrait mode.
But yeah, no, I think for a takeaway for me from the whole, like her whole talk is just, you know, just the idea of like, we're constantly trying to be motivated. We got to find our passions in life and be motivated by what we do. And how do we continue to take that seriously? I feel like that's something that we throw out at times, but obviously she takes it seriously because it's a business for her. And I don't know if sometimes we don't take that as seriously in our own lives and whatever we're working in as well. And so, you know, just to me, it was really cool to hear how she's able to help people do that.
Yeah, she's very passionate about getting people passionate about what they do. Which was one of the things that I think I enjoyed working with her through that process of, because she does care deeply, or at least pretends to, but I think she really does, cares deeply about finding what other people care about. And that really, really shines through. And she's very charismatic in a great way. It's just a fun day with Joni.
Yeah. I know, I feel like there's a lot of people, if they're fortunate enough to turn their passion into their job, a lot of times that passion can turn into that just a job. And to be able to take a step back and reassess and see, this is why I'm doing this and this is why I'm passionate about it, I think is very helpful.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, kind of at the end of the podcast, I wanted to give y'all some time as the restoration team. Talk about, 2020 has been a wild year for everybody, and the restoration team is no exception to that. So do y'all want to kind of give a clue into what this year's kind of look like at a very 3,000-foot view for the restoration team and what people can expect going forward with y'all?
We're back, baby.
We're back.
Just like the Longhorns, but actually totally different because we are actually back. We have volunteers again. We're real excited about that. We have right now, currently, as this is airing, we have some AmeriCorps NCCC members, and I'm not going to tell you what NCCC stands for because we don't remember. And Carson's going to try in a minute, and it's going to be funny.
It's the National Community Civilian. It's the National Civilian Community Corps.
There you go. So we have a group of 18 to 24-year-olds or 26-year-olds staying with us for 7 weeks, helping us repair homes, which has been really great. They are learning all sorts of things, and we are currently active in about 8 different projects around Houston. And we have about 30 in our queue that are needing your help. And so, these young people are only with us for like 6 more weeks. And after that, it's up to you to come and help us. And so reach out to us. You can find us at therestorationteam.org. You can email us, you can text us, you can call us, you can come and visit us and help us out. But we need help, whether it's helping us on site, helping us in the office, helping us by writing a check. Everything is on the table for what we need. And 21 is going to be a great year. We got some good plans. Our goal is to assist 50 more families throughout 21 and host more volunteers, in a safe, COVID-free environment that and provide a good opportunity for you to learn a new skill or hone an old skill and help out a family that desperately needs some assistance.
Yeah, that's right. We just recently repaired our 275th house since the inception of the organization. Very proud of that and very excited to see the next 275.
Yeah. 275. That's a big number. And I've been really excited about that. Yeah. So that's 275 families that because of your assistance and the work that we've done through Chapelwood, through all of our sponsor partnered churches, out of town groups have assisted these families in coming home. And that's our goal, is to bring families home into a safe and functional house.
Yeah. That's why we do it. It's our why.
That's a great why. And we will also be linking all the restoration team's social media, their website. They have a big donation button on some of their big. Oh man, it's just you want it. You can't miss it. You want to press it.
I gotta press it.
If you got to press it, you got to press it. Might as well fill out the information while you're there. And
it's true.
So all their stuff will be linked as well in this podcast. So go ahead and go volunteer if you're looking for an opportunity with them. And like always, people, go and find your why. We love to hear from you. This is not just a conversation between us on screen. It's also a conversation with you to go find and help you find your passions in life and where you want to go and work and serve and be involved. So go ahead and like us on all our social medias, follow, subscribe, leave us a review, and let us know what you think about the podcast. So yeah, go find your why, people.